You are listening to the Showbiz Side Hustle podcast, powered by PerformerPreneur. I am your host here, Nicole-Louise Geddes, and together we'll be delving into all of the ways that a showbiz side hustle can support you now and long into the future. So sit back, relax, and listen in, and together let's get inspired to take action to create the life, future, and business of your dreams. This episode is sponsored by the Showbiz Side Hustle Handbook, available on Kindle and in paperback over on Amazon. Follow the simple tasks laid out over 3 easy-to-action sections and effectively build a strong business foundation for a successful showbiz side hustle. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Showbiz Side Hustle podcast. Today, we're talking about one of the most exciting parts of building a business, your brand. So we're going to discuss and think about and discover why we have to spend some time thinking about and creating a brand. What does that actually mean? And do you understand how important it is to skyrocket you to success? So we've spoken about some of the elements of building a brand in past episodes: vision, ideal client, why, and your values. And now we need to think about our mission. Your brand is much more than a logo and a business name. It's actually how we want people to perceive us and our reputation and what people say about us when we're not even in the room. So what do you want people to think when they think of you and your business and your side hustle and your performing career? Whatever you're here today working on, how do you want your brand to precede you? So have a little think about how we define our core elements of our brand. We understand that we've got our values now. We know who we're trying to talk to. We have our why, that is the foundation element of our business and our direction to success. So now we need to create a visual identity. We need to really understand how we project these things that we have discovered and we have understood, how we project them and create a visual brand, a visual identity, and a brand voice that will support us on our journey to showbiz side hustle success. So your visual identity is anything from your logo to your color scheme to typography, and this should really reflect your personality. So I want you to think about what you want your brand to be. How do you want to be seen? Are you fun? Are you serious? Are you educational? Are you nostalgic? There's a whole heap of words that you need to think about and understand how they align with you and your vision and your mission and your values. And then we can start to bring them in to our brand identity. We can build them into our brand voice, and we can build them into our brand visuals. What colors are you picking for your logo and for your typography? Do they reflect your personality? We come back to this each time. Are your values reflected in all of the visuals and what you are saying day in, day out on social media, in your website, or on your newsletters? How is your personality coming through? What are people thinking about you when they read your social media posts, when they read your newsletters, or when they meet you in person at networking events? This is your brand. This is your brand visuals and your brand voice. And we would like you to think really deeply about what you say and what you do and what you put out into the world and how that reflects back on you. Consistency is key. Whether you are funny, professional, sarcastic, inspirational, that's actually an individual thing for you to work out and discover and be. But once you have decided what you want to be and your brand and how you want your brand voice and your brand visuals to be, you need to be consistent over on all your social media platforms, across your website, in person when networking and speaking to people face to face, and also in newsletters as well. Building an online presence isn't easy, and consistency can be the thing that crops us up and stops us from getting where we want to be. In today's world, though, your online presence is a huge part of your brand. Your website, your social media profiles, your email newsletters, everything needs to be consistent with that brand personality that you want to project to the world, that will in turn bring your ideal client back to you because you are relatable. They identify something in you that they see in themselves. If you're a performer, for instance, targeting millennials, then Instagram and TikTok is probably where you want to be. If you have a product-based business that you believe is more appealing to the older generation, you might need to get out amongst the people into networking scenarios or use an old-fashioned marketing technique like a leaflet. But whatever direction you go, whatever you need to be, wherever you need to be, you need to be consistent, and your brand needs to be represented in those visuals, in those colors, in those words. So brand isn't just a logo. It isn't just a color scheme. It isn't just a beautiful picture and a bio. It's more. It's about consistency and authenticity. So making sure that you are authentic through and through all of these avenues where your brand visuals and your brand voice and your brand is and can be. So don't just write it in a post and say it when you're giving your elevator pitch in a networking. Be that person. And this is where the other elements and the other episodes of the podcast can really help support this. You understand your why, you understand your vision, you understand your values, and you understand your ideal client. And by bringing all of this together with authenticity, you can become very naturally, very easily, that brand that you are aspiring to be, and for people to very easily connect and see that message, that consistency, those values, just wrapped up in such a beautiful package of brand visuals and brand vocals. And consistency is key. So there's a little bit to think about there in terms of how you want to look and how you want to be seen and how you want to be. But really understanding that audience is key, consistency, authenticity will get you to where you want to be. It's not difficult. You're creatives. If you're listening to this podcast from a showbiz background, you are already halfway there. You've got the creativity, you've got the understanding of aesthetics and visualization and becoming and being the next version of you. You're already able to project and see what that can be. So just let your brand evolve naturally. Let yourself evolve naturally. Nothing has to be set in stone straight away from day one. Do things slowly. Have a little experiment with colors, with tone, with voice, with imagery, and then start to understand that consistency through all of those avenues is key. Evolve your brand as you evolve. Evolve your business and your brand as you evolve. It's something that I say episode in, episode out. You are okay to evolve and change. That is absolutely fine. And as you become more secure in your decision making and your business and your entrepreneur skills, you will be able to really express your brand voice and your brand visuals even more authentically and consistently. I am absolutely sure of that. So just a little recap, it's essential to have a brand. It's essential to build a brand. It's essential to understand your mission and how to develop that visual identity and voice that's going to engage your audience and stay authentic and keep them engaged and excited to go on that journey with you. All of these things are packaged up so beautifully into this aesthetic imagery and this voice and tone through your words and your social media, that it becomes impossible to avoid and to ignore. And it's a magical place to be when you're at this stage of the business, when you can start to be creative with your identity. And there we are. We're going to leave it there today because I want you to go and reflect on your brand and let me know in the comments on the show notes if your brand is currently sending the right message to your ideal client, to your audience. Is it consistent and is it authentic? Have you got a little bit of work to do? And is there some more deep dive and deeper understanding needed to get the brand, your brand, to where you want it to be? So think about colors, think about tone, think about personality, think about visuals, and just make sure that it is consistent. But please do not be afraid ever to evolve, to change, to try new things until you get the absolute brand identity that you are proud and excited to share with the world and shout about and shine a spotlight on, because that's when you will take that big leap, that next step towards success. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for joining me here on the Showbiz Side Hustle podcast. So until next time, please do take a little bit of action, that very first step, and make sure that you are doing something for you and your Showbiz Side Hustle this week to move you forward and get you heading quickly and swiftly and strategically towards success.